Okay. Number 2. Trying to get my lighting situated here. That's good. Nope. Put it forward a little bit. Okay. All right, live stream number 2. Let's see if anybody hops on here. Okay, there we got somebody. What's up? How's it going? Don't be shy. Say hello. Test, see if they can hear me. Oh, where's they hear me? All right, chat. Why is it top? Live chat. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey guys. Sorry, I had it on the top chat, so I wasn't seeing any messages. Can you? Okay, thank you. Okay, good. I got a new microphone finally, so I'm not using the microphone on the computer. So, for those of you that were here last week, do you think it sounds better or worse? I don't know. What do you think? Also, do you like the lighting or do you want a little bit different lighting? Trying to not have it so overexposed like it was last time. Joey Piper, you are a bold one. Oh, he left. Okay, never mind. I don't know. I'm going to leave it like that for now. And then if people have issues with it, just let me know. So what's going on, everybody? How's your Tuesday? I was sick all last weekend. It really sucked. Sounds silver, maybe a little bit clearer the last week. Can't tell. Okay. Well, I bought it mostly for the videos. Get a better microphone for my videos because the microphone I was using was not the best. So I don't have professional film equipment. So hey, thanks, Cursed Kitchen. Yeah, it's I'm still getting over it a little bit. It's persistent, but the good thing is it came right after the video on Friday, so didn't end up being a factor in recording or anything like that. So that's good. So I'll be ready for the next one coming up this Friday. So yeah, and take vitamin C. I've been eating oranges with every meal, so that's definitely helped. Definitely helped a lot. So I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook or Twitter, but on Saturday when I was dead, I was lying down in bed for most of the day, but eventually I realized, well, if I want to fall asleep, I'm gonna have to not stay in bed because otherwise I'm gonna get bed sores. I'm not gonna fall asleep. So I had to sit up, I guess, and put on the Phantom Menace and watch the Phantom Menace all the way through for the first time in a few months. So that was good. Really don't like the reflection on my glasses from that lighting. Oh, where's that coming from? It's interesting. Put it back. Nope. Not too far forward. I don't know. I'm going to keep playing with the lighting. Figure it out. It was really interesting, watching it again. One of the questions I had, I don't know if you guys have the answer to this, but I was wondering what happened to Boss Nass. I don't know if they explained that because he wasn't in Clone Wars. So where did the hardcover graphic novel of the Phantom Menace? I haven't read any of the graphic novels for any of the movies. So I don't know if you've read any of them, Hearts and Ewoks, but if you have, are they any good? And if they are, let me know which ones, and I'll take a look. I think that he retired. I don't know, maybe. So I wonder if he got the benefits package with that. So I don't know a lot about Legends. Neither do I. So we're in the same camp here. So he's at Padme's funeral, Revenge of the Sith. That is true. It was. I don't know if he was. I don't think he was boss at the time. At least because in the Clone Wars we had Boss Leone. So I don't know how that all worked out. But thank you for reminding me, Joey. I almost forgot about that one. So, but yeah, and then just I can't the end the whole end thing with the 3 battles going on in that movie is awesome. So I just oh gets me going, I guess. So okay. So you guys got any questions? Anything to fire away today? Anything you want to know? The merchandising for the Phantom Menace was amazing. Yeah, I was like 3 at the time, and I don't really remember too much of the merchandising, but I did happen to find this one shop that had a lot of old merchandise, and they had a whole Star Wars aisle. It was full of stuff from like estate sales and stuff like that, and there's a lot of like the Pepsi stuff, the Pepsi cans and whatnot. They had this Attack of the Clones box cereal, never been opened. I was like, that's got to be pretty nasty by this point. So. It was so cool because it's just all these old toys and stuff like that. Even from like Revenge of the Sith, like that's the Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith is like when I remember like the merchandising for Star Wars. And so like seeing that stuff was like, oh man, I feel like a kid again. So, are you good at doing any Star Wars impressions? So one of my hidden talents is voice impersonations. I can do a decent Emperor, but I'm always a little nervous doing my voice impressions, even with like friends and stuff like that. So, because it's like for me, it's like if you start off wrong, it's going to sound wrong, and then if you have to correct yourself, then you just sound weird. So, maybe I'll do it a little bit later. What are your favorite parallels in the saga? I kind of like the ring theory idea, especially with if you think of Attack of the Clones and Empire Strikes Back, and just kind of how they start off. Because Empire Strikes Back, you have the big battle at the beginning, and in Attack of the Clones, you have the big battle at the end, and it kind of they're almost like in reverse order, in a sense, if you think about it. So I think that's pretty cool. LOL, same here. Art Hearts and Ewoks. Might have to do some voice impersonations sometime. Tend to be some Star Wars characters. See what my other favorite parallels are. The one thing I do like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the I can't remember that one documentary. The Prequel Strikes Back, and I actually learned that the song they play at the end of the Phantom Menace, the celebration song, was the Emperor's theme, actually in a different key, apparently. And so I thought that was actually really cool. Have you read the Star Wars Heresies? I have not read those. If you want to send me a link to those, I will take a look at them. So, but I thought that was interesting. I think it's just it talks about, or lends credence to how good the symbolism was in Star Wars, because at the end of the day, it may sound like, oh, they won the day, they kicked out the Trade Federation, all that stuff, but really it was the Emperor the whole time, or Sidious the whole time that won. So, have you seen any of the Galaxy of Adventures shorts on YouTube? Yeah, I actually watched today. I watched the Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Yoda versus Dooku one, and I thought it actually was pretty cool for redoing essentially rebooting a scene of the movie. And I thought the animation was really good, and I really enjoyed it. It goes over the mythological stuff in Star Wars. Yeah, definitely send me like a link to it or something if you can, because I'll definitely check it out. So. Yes, John Williams is a genius. So, yeah. So I'm so glad he did all the Star Wars music. I have all the soundtracks for all the movies, but Revenge of the Sith and the Phantom Menace are definitely my favorite. If you go and listen to Anakin's theme from the Phantom Menace soundtrack, and you listen all the way to the end, it slowly the song slowly transforms into the Imperial March, and it's just really ominous and chilling almost. Very cool. very cool. It's also in the credits too. If you listen to the if you go through the Phantom Menace credits and you watch all the way to the end. Like the love theme is Luke and Leia together. Oh, but yeah, the Star Wars soundtracks are awesome. So I think probably my top played song is definitely Palpatine's Teachings, which is the opera scene from Revenge of the Sith for sure. So I like how they mixed the I don't know if the proper term is Gregorian. No, it's not Gregorian chant or throat singing, or if you mix that with the electronics, like a little bit of electronic flair to it. That's what I really like about that specific song. So mine would be Anakin's Theme. Yeah, Anakin's Theme is definitely like a top 5 song for me. So it's up there with Duel of Fates and all of those. So also at the end of Phantom Menace credits, can't remember which version, you hear Vader's breathing. I did not know that. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. I didn't watch all the way to the end of the credits this time because I was sick and I was tired by the end of it, so I want to go to bed. Dexter Jetster's Diner is the best piece. I would agree. So Dexter is the true hero of Star Wars. Not the hero we deserve, but the hero we needed. Happy Tuesday, Beyond the Blast Doors. Welcome to the live stream. Yep, end of Phantom Menace, Vader's breathing can be heard. Okay, well, definitely going to have to go check that out because I never knew that. So there's still things. I think that's the best part about Star Wars is that even like movies, the movies are, over 15 or almost 15. Well, Revenge of the Sith will be 15 in about a year or so. But now the saga is almost, or the trilogy is almost 15 years old, at least. I think it's still interesting that I'm finding new things every time I watch it. Just learning new things and new like small symbols. Little metaphors you just pick up on every time, and it's almost like kind of when you watch it with almost a different perspective each time. So I think that's interesting, and then it allows you to learn new things or find new hidden meanings. So Padme's ruminations is probably one of my favorite parts of episode 3. It's part of the movie when we realized that we are at the point where everything is about to take a turn for the worse. Yep. Anakin's Dark Deeds. That's the other song from Revenge of the Sith. That's really good. That's the the bum bum ba da bum ba bum ba da bum. That one. That one's really good. And the one of my favorite scenes from Revenge of the Sith is the one where Anakin's on the balcony on Mustafar, and the shots behind him here, and he's looking, and there's the eclipse, and there's it's like black, but there's a ring of light around it, kind of like how he's diving into the darkness, but there's still the light there. It's like, oh, I love that so much. It's like reverse, but yeah, that's actually a good point. It is like a reverse binary sunset. I love the Doug and Jabba's palace scene in the 2011 edition of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, actually, when I was watching The Phantom Menace, that actually crossed my mind. I think it was cool that he did that because that's my biggest complaint with like the new stuff, the new trilogy, at least the movies, is that they keep introducing new aliens, but they don't give us a lot of familiar aliens. I think I'd like to see that because I think it kind of ties everything together behind the scenes. We don't necessarily need like prequel characters or anything like that showing up all the time in like sequel stuff because obviously that's like 60 years later. But it'd be cool to see like a Doug or something like that. Or, even a Gungan. Like, if you read the books and stuff, like I read, what was the one Leia novel? I have to look what was that one, Bloodline, I think it was. That one Leia novel that took place in the sequel trilogy. There's actually a Gungan in that one. It's a lot of the novels have them, but I would like to see them in the movies a lot more, so. Yeah. Twi'leks for episode 9. Yeah, I would like to see Twi'leks for episode 9. Like even original trilogy aliens. Like I just want to see like Rhodians or something like that. I just want to see like aliens that we've seen before, besides Nub and Akbar and stuff like that. I'd like to see some more background or aliens that we're familiar with. So yeah, it gives us familiar aliens, helps the audience connect to the universe. Yeah, I think it just ties it together. Kind of just reminds you that this is Star Wars. This is the same universe because like I guess it'd be a similar thing with like going back to planets we've seen before. I know the whole thing's like, oh, we gotta add new planets and expand the universe and stuff like that. But you spend so much time, expanding the universe. Sometimes you forget that you're even in it. So I think it's nice. It'd be nice to go back to some familiar places. So I like with Rogue One. They went back to Mustafar. Although I don't think their portrayal of Mustafar was the greatest. I don't know if it was like just a different part of Mustafar or just less volcanic or something. I don't know. It was like it didn't seem as volcanic and dark as it did in Revenge of the Sith. I don't know. Maybe that was just a super volcanically active time or something like that. On Mustafar, because it's flowing with the dark side or something. But when Anakin came to town, but I still thought it was cool that we went back to Mustafar in Rogue One. Yeah, definitely helps with the connectivity for sure. So, kind of interesting question. What did you guys think of? What did you think of Rogue One first, and then also, what do you like about Vader's castle? Do you like Vader's castle? I thought it was a really interesting idea to kind of have him build a castle in the place that gives him the most pain, reminds him of his defeat to Obi-Wan and kind of the betrayal to his friend, or he says brother. So thought it was really interesting. To me, what's interesting is just how the Emperor tortures him like purposefully, and then he just like goes along with it. And he's like, just throws himself into it. Of course, all of that is his remorse for losing Padme and regret. Just this self-hatred. It's it all stems from that. But I just the Emperor is just like, hey, build a castle or a little fort here. It's a place where you suffered your worst defeat. And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll go with that. So, also in terms of like another question for you guys, if you like, what would you like to see in like are there any prequel references you'd like to see in the new movies, in the sequel trilogy or in 9? I feel like with 9, especially because they have to wrap everything up, it's definitely going to have some connective tissue. Of course, they'll have connective tissue to the original trilogy, but connective tissue to the rest of the saga, so the prequels. So I really do not like this lighting. I think I'm going to turn it around. Just my face might get a little bit bright here for a second. That's really bright. Trying to find that balance here between the light and the dark, literally and figuratively. It's just way too much. Yeah, I don't have professional video equipment, unfortunately. I remember how I had it last time. It was like, no, it's too much still. I think we'll go with that. You like that? Does you think that's better? I think my webcam just doesn't work well with low light stuff. Force Ghost Anakin, yep. I want Force Ghost Anakin. I think everyone does. I really want to see Anakin talk to Kylo Ren and just be like, yo, dude, snap out of it. Like the Darth Vader thing was just not a good idea. Rogue One felt more like the original trilogy than I think the sequels do. But I just thought it was okay. Enjoyed the last 30 minutes of the film, but the rest had me a little bored. Yeah, I think that was just kind of the general like issue with Rogue One, was like the end of the film was awesome, but the rest of it was like, eh. So, I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing. So, and Force Ghost Obi-Wan. Yeah, I would like to see that. And definitely the only option there is Ewan McGregor. No one else. Padme, please reference Padme's existence. I feel like that's more likely than a lot of people think, because just of how important she was to the whole storyline. So I don't like the fact the new trilogy ignores the existence of Coruscant. Well, yeah, it definitely doesn't feature Coruscant. But if you this is why I like the novels, because the novels really have a lot of that connective tissue like I was talking about. But like if you go and read like Bloodline or something like that, which is a sequel trilogy novel, they talk about Coruscant. They have like senators from Coruscant and stuff like that. Um, it's it's that's why I like to read the novels, because I think it just ties it all in a little bit more than just watching the movies alone. Do you have any signed merchandise? No, no. I definitely want to get some Hayden Christensen signed stuff though, in the future. So I really like, because I'm at college and stuff like that. Like I'm moving around a lot, and so like those types of things, I don't really have a lot of. I do. I wonder if. I don't know if I have it right here. I have a Darth Vader drawing that I bought that was really nice. I don't know if I have it here though, but I'll definitely pull it out some point later and show you guys. It was pretty cool. So Scarif was beautiful, and honestly, I think it's about time that we got a beach planet, a destination, holiday destination planet. So there we go. So, I don't know if any of you guys play? Any you guys happen to play Star Wars Armada or not? But I picked up. I picked up some Star Wars Armada stuff. My roommates and I are big. Light's not good there. We're big Star Wars game fans too. So we're gonna play that this weekend. I've played it before with some friends, but finally picked it up for myself. So another thing too, or a question I got for you guys is, I know the episodes and stuff are all written for the new series or the new season of Clone Wars, but like what are things that you'd like to see in the last few episodes of Clone Wars when they come out at the end of the year? So, my big thing obviously is Order 66, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get that. So, with the whole Siege of Mandalore stuff and that whole storyline, I do want to read the Ahsoka novel at some point too. That's on my list of books to read. There's just so many books coming out now. It's hard for me to keep up. I'd like to see some footage inside the Jedi Temple during Order 66. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a cartoon. I think it's a little bit maybe a little bit too graphic. So, but yeah, that'd be quite a mess. So, Son of Dathomir and the Ventress arc animated. I haven't read the Son of Dathomir comic yet. I think that, but I mean, I've read about like the stuff that happens. Isn't that the one? Son of Dathomir is the one where Mother Talzin gets killed by Grievous. Am I correct on that one? The full animation of the Bad Batch arc. Yeah, I think. Okay, thank you, Betsy. Yeah, I think because those episodes were like so close to complete. They just needed to put some of the final animation touches on them. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get those. So it's been a while since I've watched those too. So, the other one too that's Dave Filoni showed off at Star Wars Celebration. Was it 2 years ago, or was that Star Wars Celebration? I think it was Star Wars Celebration, but it was the Boba Fett Cad Bane. That's what I was about to say. The Boba Fett Cad Bane standoff. Because we never got the wrap up on Cad Bane. I was always wondering, what happened to him, because we kind of get left kind of with a cliffhanger, I guess, with his storyline, and never hear from him again. So, but now that they revealed that, I think we'll finally see the end of his storyline and see that all wrapped up. So, I know I talked about it last time too. If you're looking for a good novel, good canon novel to get into for prequel stuff, that I can suggest to you, my first suggestion is always going to be Rogue One Catalyst, because that book sets up Rogue One, also takes place during a lot of the prequel trilogy. So, and also talks about the Death Star quite a bit. Sabine has Cad Bane and Embo drawings in her quarters of the Ghost. I actually never noticed that one. And, honestly, with Rebels, I didn't start watching Rebels until season 3, and I never watched seasons 1 or 2. I just kind of read about all the stuff that happened, so I kind of have an idea of what actually went on before that point, but I never watched the episodes, so that's something I need to catch up on. But I watched seasons 3 and 4 of Rebels. That's when I started getting into it. So, in fact, I actually want to rewatch the last 3 episodes of Rebels season 4. So, I'm not going to spoil anything about those, but a lot of interesting stuff that goes on there. So, have you read the book Dark Disciple? No, I have not. And a big reason why I haven't read it yet is because for me, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, this is like a side story, or at least got the impression it was kind of like a side story. And Ventress is not one of my favorite characters. So when I first started reading, I was like, okay, my first book was Tarkin, so I started with Tarkin, and the reason I picked up that one was because I wanted to read that and then move on to Rogue One Catalyst, because Rogue One Catalyst was the book that got me into Star Wars books. So I'll definitely take a look though at Dark Disciple. I think again towards the end of the year, when after hopefully I read Queen's Shadow and Master and Apprentice, and we've cleared through those prequel trilogy novels. So I gotta finish Thrawn Alliances first. So I'm like halfway done with that book. Ventress went through so many career changes under 3 years. LOL. Yeah, I don't know. I just think she didn't know what she wanted to do with herself. She didn't know where she really fit in. So as far as I can remember, she just stayed a bounty hunter. I don't think so. So glad they got the actress to play Mon Mothma from the deleted scenes of Menace to reprise her role in Rogue One. I wish they kept the Birth of the Rebellion storyline in the film. Yeah, I think especially since they added that continuity, I would have really liked to have seen the Birth of the Rebellion storyline in the film. And I think really my biggest issue with Revenge of the Sith as a movie is that they didn't set up so much of Padme being kind of the spark of the rebellion. There's so much symbolism there, but they just didn't they really didn't set it up so explicitly like they did in the deleted scenes for the the start of the rebellion and stuff like that. So how is Thrawn Alliances? Thrawn Alliances is actually really good. I read the first Thrawn novel. That one was good. First Thrawn novel is also good for prequel stuff too, because Thrawn, you'll read on, Thrawn has kind of this obsession with the Clone Wars. He's kind of like Clone Wars era weapons. And there's actually part of the book where he's starts collecting old droid stuff, like buzz droids. Like he finds buzz droids, and he geeks out about how there's different models of buzz droids and stuff like that. And he's looking for the older versions because they have a specific part in them that's it's valuable or whatever, but not like monetary value, but valuable to his his plans that he concocts in his brain. Thrawn Alliances is a little different. It's just kind of like a side story with Vader and Thrawn, but it alternates between Thrawn and Vader and Thrawn and Anakin, kind of dealing with interrelated problems. I mean, I haven't read through the whole book, so I don't know what the connection is, but it alternates chapters. So you'll read the first chapter and it'll be Vader and Thrawn, and then the next chapter will be Thrawn and Anakin, and then they also sprinkle a couple chapters with Padme in there. So it's kind of like there's multiple storylines. It starts off with multiple storylines going on at the same time. I assume that at the end of the book, it's probably going to converge to the single plot point, and then wrap up. So, and then the Thrawn. The third Thrawn is a Thrawn treason, I think. I have no idea what that's going to be about, but I think it's going to deal more with Thrawn's backstory than anything. The Chiss stuff. What is your favorite piece of Star Wars memorabilia? I guess this is in terms of collectibles or props or something like that. Like in terms of memorabilia, I definitely, for me, it's like the old Legos and stuff like that, because that stuff, that's like nostalgia right there for me. So, isn't Padme getting a novel this year? Yes, it's called Queen's Shadow. It comes out in March. It's going to be awesome. I think they're one thing that they're starting to do is fill in a lot more of the timeline between the end of the Phantom Menace and the start of Attack of the Clones, because that's like a 10-year time gap. So there's a lot of stories you can tell, and obviously there's a lot of growing up that happens, literally, because Anakin says it at the beginning, or Padme says it at the beginning. So, have you played the game Star Wars Bounty Hunter? I have not played that game. The big Star Wars games that I played in the past, my favorites were Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2005 one, obviously, and then Empire War. I played a lot of Empire War. She also has a comic issue from the Age of Rebellion series comic book. Yes, she does. It'll be Age of Republic, but yes, she has a comic issue coming out next month as well. So we're getting a lot of Padme. So I know I remember it was like a year ago, people were complaining. They're like, oh, we're not getting enough Padme. Where's my Padme? We want more Padme stuff. And I think now we're seeing that, seeing those fruits come to bear. How many of the prequel Marvel comics, i.e. Darth Vader, have you read any of the prequel Marvel comics, Darth Vader and Darth Maul miniseries? The comics are probably my least read, or least viewed, or whatever you want to call it, consumed media form of Star Wars. Like I said, I just kind of I don't follow comics because you have to keep buying them like on a regular basis, and so I always want to wait until they come, they come in the books or the graphic novels, compiled, and then I'll read them. But of course, by that point, everyone's read it, and it's like so much later. But I try to follow along with what's going on. So I know a lot of what happens in the original Darth Vader comic series and stuff like that through YouTube and all those things. So I do have one comic book. I don't remember what issue of Star Wars it is. It's part of the Star Wars line, the canon Star Wars line that's still going on. But it's the one where at the end Vader is talking with Jabba the Hutt, and it's actually, and there's a lot of great symbolism in these comics. Definitely they're definitely worth a read. But he says, or Jabba's talking. They're on their sail barge, and I think they're hunting banthas or something. And Jabba has a drink or whatever, and he's just chatting with Vader, and Vader says to, Jabba says to him, how could, or something along the lines of who would have known that anyone remarkable would have been born on Tatooine? And it's like he says that, but Vader's framed in the shot, and it's just a beautiful shot. So I mean, there's so much cool stuff like that in the comics. Go check out. Have you played the Force Unleashed PS2 version? No, I actually never owned a PlayStation 2. I only had a Wii, and then I got a PC. So I kind of jumped. I went from Wii. I skipped the Xbox 360 and PS3 stuff and moved to PC. And I never had before I had the Wii. All I had was like Nintendo, so it was GameCube and stuff like that. I never had any PlayStations or anything like that. Battlefront 2, when I played that, I played it on my friend's PS2. At his house on a regular basis. So I did play a little bit of Force Unleashed, I do remember, on somebody's PlayStation. And I remember I was Shock T fighting a Rancor or something like that. So I also like watching some of the cinematics for games too, like on YouTube. People make cinematic movies from all the cutscenes on games. So I do like to watch those. So I've seen the beginning of Force Unleashed and that cutscene and stuff like that. So Starkiller as a character, I think, is an interesting concept. So I wonder what they'll do if they'll make a similar character in canon. I don't think they'll ever be oh look, Starkiller, literally Starkiller. If his name is Starkiller, he may be Starkiller in a different, it's not gonna be the same storyline literally, or he may show up in a different part of the the universe, I guess. But I have not played The Force Unleashed. I do have it on PC though, and I'm going to play it. You think the prequels were robbed at the Oscars? I don't follow the Oscars so much because I just think movie awards are just extremely subjective, and to me, it's like if you win, I mean, like it's a big deal if you win an Oscar, but I don't know. It's just like it doesn't bother me like that if the prequels were like snubbed, out of an Oscar award or something like that. Starkiller was originally going to be an Inquisitor in Rebels. Yeah, I actually didn't know that one. Or I may have heard that a long time ago. I just need to be refreshed on that. So I did like the Inquisitors in Rebels. I thought they were pretty neat. So I think they killed off the Grand Inquisitor a little too quickly though. That's just my opinion. So Joey, do you think that the prequels were robbed with the Oscars? Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know too much about the all that stuff, but to me, it's like if you enjoy the movie, you enjoy the movie. If it wins an award, great. If it doesn't win an award, it's not a big deal, at least for me. So I was too young to be following all that stuff at the time. So, not to mention, awards are very political. They literally campaign for the film to win it. It's complicated, kind of ruined the award shows for me. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's just like, and a lot of times they just choose like a lot of like indie films or just really exotic movies that just don't like aren't very popular with the general public. Like you almost never see like something like Avengers or something like that, or a Marvel movie, or one of the new Star Wars movies like winning these awards. It's always like some film that showed at like 40 theaters nationwide and was in the theaters for 2 weeks or something. And it's just like a lot of indie stuff. So it's kind of like artwork. It's like you look at some of the most simplistic artwork and it like sold for like $3 million, and you're like, how is this $3 million? Like I could make something better like in like half a second or whatever. Just slap my paintbrush on the canvas and drag it across. But if you like study that, like you literally study art or like have a degree in art, and you can interpret things in so many different ways. And it probably makes more sense. So like it's probably the same with movies. People like who watch a lot of movies are like, wow, these movies are great. They have so much symbolism in them. And maybe they can understand these higher level movies, but I'm a mainstream guy. So what's up, Omega 500 Gaming? Welcome back to the stream, man. And let me know when if you want to get a PC and play some Battlefront. That offer's still on the table. So anytime. For those of you who play the new Battlefront, I guess like what's your favorite like map? What's your favorite like prequel map to play on, or any map for that matter, in game mode? And I would say like mine is definitely the Ryloth Starfighter Assault. And I love playing as the droids and being a droid tri-fighter. It did such a good job with the sounds. The one video I uploaded, it's just gameplay of me. That was like I uploaded it because it just sounded so good. I was like, oh, I love it so much. Geonosis. I haven't played Geonosis yet. I never have good luck with getting on the on Geonosis. And actually, like same with like Hoth and stuff like that. I've only played like Hoth like twice. I don't know what's up with the map rotations, but I've never seemed to get on. So, well, I haven't played too much lately. So, there's only 2 people on. Where'd everyone go? So for everyone, I guess for the 2 of you that are still on, what are your favorite all-time Star Wars scenes? Any movie, any saga? Just shoot those in the chat. Let's get something going. Han or Lando? I like Lando. And if you're talking about Battlefront 2, if you're talking about Battlefront 2, I would go with Han. If you're talking about characters, I like Lando. I like Han too, but excuse me. Lando's got the yeah, he's got the swagger. So I love what they did with Lando in Solo. So Donald Glover did a really good job with him. Sorry, like I said, if you're just joining the stream, I was sick this weekend, so I may be coughing or sniffling or something. My throat's like drying out a little bit. I love the pod race. Yep, pod race was definitely like one of my favorite things from Phantom Menace. So that's one thing I'd actually like to see in terms of Star Wars gaming. I would like to see a high quality pod racing game. Like, I mean, you think of like Forza or something like that, but like this has to be as detailed, I guess. But excuse me, something similar would be good. Favorite color lightsaber, purple. Mace Windu's purple is awesome. Definitely my favorite. Also, because he's like one of the few Jedi that have a purple lightsaber. A little bit more unique. After that, I would probably go with green. Like if you want to go with the more common ones. My favorite character in Star Wars. Gosh, dang it. It's always a tough question. Of course, I have to go with like all of Star Wars. I mean, it's like kind of cliche answer, but like Anakin, of course. He's kind of the focus of the whole thing as a whole. My other favorite characters, the Emperor, because he's a genius and he's evil. He's an evil genius. Count Dooku's also up there. Favorite shot through any Star Wars film in Phantom Menace towards the beginning, the shot of the palace at Naboo with the waterfall, and it's just so perfect. Yeah, I think kind of when you start watching the Phantom Menace and you try to think, okay, I don't know if any of you guys were there at the time when it first came out and remember all that stuff, and you're like, wow, sitting in for the first Star Wars movie in over a decade. I try to come at it with that perspective, and like watching them like set everything up. I think they actually do a really good job at it. And I think Naboo is especially like, it's not like a planet we've really seen in Star Wars. I mean, I guess you could say the closest thing we've seen before that was Yavin 4, but you never seen like that planet that's just kind of like a paradise planet. It's not like Scarif, like not like beach paradise, but just like seems like a nice place to live. Never rains or something like that. Battle of the Heroes for me. Yeah, if you're talking a song, that's an excellent song as well. So, very emotional song. That's one of those songs that gets me teary-eyed and cry. Oh yeah, did any of you cry at the end of Revenge of the Sith? Because, like I said, I definitely cry at the end of Revenge of the Sith every time. Like I said, it's always Obi-Wan. It just so sad. I also get teary-eyed too when he says goodbye to Anakin before he goes off to Utapau, and he's like standing in the shadow and stuff or Anakin's standing on the shadow and Obi-Wan's in the light and stuff. I do. It especially works after Clone Wars. Yeah, I think like when you watch Clone Wars and then you go and like watch the prequels, then you kind of just have like this, better understanding of Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship as master and apprentice, and how like, especially because there was a lot of hostility towards between the two at in the days of Anakin as a Padawan up to the Clone Wars. You saw it in Attack of the Clones. He's kind of like like just very rebellious. He's grouchy. He complains a lot. about Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan complains about him sometimes. But like then you go to like Revenge of the Sith and they're like, they're like teammates. They're like high-fiving each other. Another happy landing or whatever. The whole I love this. I love the part of Revenge of the Sith when they get out of their starfighters in the hangar of Grievous's ship and they're like attacking the droids and they're working together and you see that they like develop some synergy. Then you go like watch the Clone Wars and you come back to that and it makes sense. And then when you watch the end of the movie and literally like your best friend, the person you fought alongside with for the last 3 years helped bring up, like literally just turns against you, I mean like almost instantly basically. It's very sad. Every time for me it's Order 66. Yeah, Order 66 gets me. It's always just like not as it doesn't have the same weight, I guess, for me, but the music is what really drives that emotion. Not really, but it did feel emotional for me. I mean, like I'm not like when I say cry, I'm not like literally like bawling my eyes out like or whatever, but you do get a little water in your eye, gotta dab your eye there. God, Ewan McGregor was perfect in that role. Yes, he was perfect in that role. And now he's the only one who can be Obi-Wan. Favorite all-time Jedi character? I actually like Qui-Gon. I think Qui-Gon had some... I mean, he's also partially insane, but had some level-headedness and kind of just a anti-authoritative perspective and the whole thing with the living force and whatnot. Biggest thing for me for Qui-Gon is that he believed in Anakin even when no one else did, and he was a huge driving force behind that. I think to me he was like the council was flawed and he necessarily wasn't like the answer. He was off kind of in his own world essentially. That's like the way I see it. But I think he had some wisdom that he could impart on the council that the council just ignored and just kind of said like, you're crazy, type of thing. So that's why I like Qui-Gon. And the one, it's a Legends. I'm pretty sure it's a Legends thing. I really want them to make a canon. I really want them to have Luke's, in the old Legends timeline, Luke's green lightsaber that he got in Return of the Jedi, the Kyber crystal from in his lightsaber was Qui-Gon's. And so that's something I would like to see actually in canon. That was cool. Qui-Gon is definitely underrated. Doesn't get enough love. But we got the Master and Apprentice novel in April. So that's going to deal with a lot to do with Qui-Gon. There's the I'm trying to remember what that's. There was the one story, the short story, where Obi-Wan gets visited by Qui-Gon on Tatooine, sometime before the events of A New Hope, and stuff like that. So he's definitely getting some more attention, which is good. So he's definitely not going away or being brushed aside. So yeah. And going back to like the Force Ghost Obi-Wan thing, I would definitely want to see Ewan McGregor as Force Ghost Obi-Wan in Episode 9. I think everyone would kind of freak out. It might be some cheering in the movie theater when if that were to happen. So I think also Qui-Gon too would be a good character to bring back for Episode 9. I don't think he can appear as a Force Ghost because his training or his training with the Force priestesses wasn't complete before he died, but he can manifest his voice. He was able to manifest himself at Mortis because of the it was a Force nexus, and the Force was so strong there that he had the ability to physically manifest himself as a ghost, but he can't just like do that anywhere. He can't do that like Obi-Wan or Yoda can, because the whole point was like he was like, he found the path to immortality, but he never 100% completed it, I guess. Do you wish that they would have gone or given Leia more Force powers in the sequel trilogy? Not necessarily. I really like actually what they've done with Leia. And they not made her a Jedi. She stayed with her political career. And if you read Bloodline, and of course you watch The Last Jedi, you see that like she and in The Force Awakens, she's still very Force sensitive, and it still plays a huge part in her life. And then in Bloodline, she actually, you actually see her use it practically, just like in The Last Jedi. Did Luke train with Force priestesses? I don't know. I don't know, but he did disappear. That's what the ghosts do. So maybe he did. I'm sure that probably in his time in exile, he probably stumbled across something and, maybe took a trip to the center of the galaxy, to the wellspring of life. Or Leia should have been a Jedi in the new trilogy. Well, I guess the thing, obviously that doesn't necessarily work with the story that they set up for the new trilogy right now, but I really wouldn't have complaints that them going either way. I think like the only drawback to me is that it takes away from the "no, there is another" line a little bit, because I guess at least to me now, the "no, there is another" line that Yoda says in Empire Strikes Back, he's referring to Leia, just kind of gives some foreshadowing that there's another Skywalker or something like that. So do you think we'll get any mention of the Wills in canon? If you're referring to the Wills as the texts, then I think it's possible. Because we have in Rogue One, we have the Guardians of the Wills, Chirrut and I can't remember his name. Chirrut and the other guy. Those guys were the Guardians of the Wills. So maybe they'll have like a little side story where they actually explore that, and they go to I can't remember, or they go to Jeddah and they explore the Wills, or what, at Baze Malbus. I was thinking Rage, and I was like, wait, why is it Rage? It's not Rage. So Baze Malbus, thank you. But I think actually that would make for a really interesting comic series or a book where they talk about Jeddah. And actually, what would be really interesting would be to maybe have like a book tie-in with Jedi's, or Jedi Padawans getting their Kyber crystals from Jeddah, going to Jeddah, maybe go off on a little side story to talk about the Wills, and they have to defend the Wills or something like that, and or learn about the Wills and stuff like that. Do you think we're getting too much Star Wars content? If you asked me this question 6 months ago, it's February. If you asked me this question like a year ago, I'd say yeah. Because a year ago we had Last Jedi in December, we had Rebels wrapping up, and then we had Solo in May. And there was a lot of books coming out, stuff like that going on. But now that we're kind of like halfway between this dry spell into episode 9, I think I'm missing it a little bit. I haven't been reading or watching as much of Star Wars as I have been, or I have done in the past. But it's going to start picking up here again soon. I think as long as they lay low after 9, I think we'll be okay. I think just stick with the live, the live TV shows, and then, make a couple books and comics, and then, lay low before we, you introduce any more movies, for a while. Maybe give it 4 or 5 years or something before we see another live action movie. Favorite live action Clone Wars / Rebels moment in the movies? Darth Maul during the Empire, or Saw Gerrera. Oh, when Rogue One first came out, I was like freaking out that they put Saw Gerrera in there. I think it really adds to his character arc, and just shows how he'll literally do absolutely anything to defeat the Empire. My favorite though is definitely Maul at the end of Solo, because I think that presents a whole another storyline for him to talk about, because outside of Solo and the supporting canon stuff, which I haven't read, we don't know much about Crimson Dawn. Like we don't know how he got started with it. We don't know how he got off of Crimson Dawn, because he's definitely not part of Crimson Dawn in Rebels. So, and we obviously don't know what happens to Kira after the after Solo. So there's a lot there that is still have to be explored. So, and I think it was a good way to also introduce casual fans to the fact that he wasn't dead. Of course, there are a lot of them who are confused, but I think it also drives a lot of people to literally go to Google. Why is Darth Maul still alive? And then they look it up and they find it out and they're like, oh, well, maybe I should go watch the Clone Wars. And then people go and watch the Clone Wars and they learn a little bit more about Star Wars. Not necessarily a bad thing, but both. I mean, they're both good. I want to see more of that though. Like I want to see more. I want to see more of the original animated characters coming into the live action movies, and I'm definitely sure they're going to come in the TV shows. Why does Maul wish to create a criminal empire? To rival Palpatine's power? ? I know that with the Mandalorians, that was the original intent. The original intent, I think, well, maybe not necessarily to rival, but to kind of get his attention and say like, "Hey, I'm still here," basically like, I want to come back. Kind of like a bad significant other or something like that, like an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or whatever, comes crawling back to you, is like, hey, look at me, I've changed, blah blah blah, can we like be together again? And of course, the Emperor's like, no, you've been replaced or whatever. And he has Dooku and stuff like that. So I think more of it was just to get Palpatine's attention. But of course, the Sith are power hungry. So I mean, I'm sure he had the plan to maybe get back on Palpatine's side, work with him, take over the galaxy, and of course, kill Palpatine and take over everything for himself. That's the Sith way. You kill your own master. It's like praying mantis or something that, like, they mate and the females eat the male or something like that. It's like just like deadly line of succession, I guess. It's just the Sith way. So, yeah, I do want to see them also like explore some more with like Darth Bane and stuff like that from the Clone Wars. Doesn't have to be like in the Clone Wars, the coming up episodes, but like I want to see some more of that. Go into the old stuff. I don't necessarily need Old Republic stuff. I never played the Old Republic game or never really got into the Old Republic timeline stuff, but I want to see I want them to create a little bit more mystery around it, I guess, is my thing. So, and I wonder then if we're gonna get Darth Revan. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he was written into the end of the Clone Wars, or if that was just or maybe was that was, I think that was a deleted. The Revan stuff was like a deleted concept for the Mortis arc. Maybe. Can't remember quite exactly. So, what are some of your favorite franchises? In terms of movies, besides Star Wars, I like the J.R.R. Tolkien. I like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I like the Marvel stuff. Also like big fan of Mission Impossible. Indiana Jones is good. I did when I was little. I also read all the Harry Potter books before like all the movies came out and stuff like that. Those are some of my other favorites, but definitely, what the heck is that? I don't know what that is. But definitely, like those are some of my favorites. Star Wars to me is like transcended like fandom. It's more like it's like a lifestyle almost. It's like I'm devoted to it. It's like I worship it. It's like a religion at this point. So, okay. Oh, well, all right. It's already 8:59. So, well, I got to get going, guys, but thanks for hopping again on the live stream. Had a good time. And yeah, just look forward to doing this again next Tuesday. Really enjoying it. So, we'll have a video out on Friday. Omega 500's gaming. Let me know when you get that PC so we play some Battlefront 2. Hey, may the force be with you, Joey. Have a great week. Batsy Universe. Remember Commander Cody. He's the best. Stay tuned for a video on Friday. And, of course, live stream next Tuesday. I'm going to be out of town at the is it next week and the next week. No, not next week, the week after. Never mind. But in like 2 weeks, I'm gonna be out of town, so there won't be a video. But I'm still gonna do live stream, so this is good. So yeah, good to see you, Hearts and Ewoks. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. So, but thank you. So yeah, don't get sick. Stay healthy out there. Stay warm. We'll make it through the long winter. Other than that, guys, yeah, have a great rest of your week, and may the force be with you always.